This could end up being a major moment in the fight to keep our elections free and fair. Or it could end up more like any of Trump's mindless drivel. And let me set the stage for you, because on Monday afternoon, the president announced a primetime address to the nation. And here's what he said in his post. President Trump will be making a speech to the nation on Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for your attention to this matter. You're welcome. And look, it could just be some more of that Trump weirdness, because if you remember last December, he pulled this stunt when he hijacked primetime for 18 minutes of double speed yelling, all because Susie Wiles told him he needed to. CBS literally interrupted the Survivor finale for all of that. So sure, there is a greater than zero chance that Thursday is just more of that again. Grandpa found out that someone else was getting attention and they activated the emergency sundowning protocol. But I am not overstating this. If Thursday's speech is what it is shaping up to be, it could be a seminal moment in the fall of our government as we know it. And I do not say that for spectacle. I say it because Trump is truly desperate. And start with what leaked Monday night after that post. A right-wing outlet called the Washington Reporter posted that President Trump was planning to announce that Georgia's two senators, Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, are illegitimate because of election fraud. That post pulled 11 million views in less than a day. And then came the White House walkback. Within 24 hours, the same outlet was posting a White House denial. The speech won't focus just on Georgia. Nothing to see here, folks. So why would they do that? Because that trial balloon that they floated up there got shot out of the sky by anyone that has a functioning brainstem. Even conservative commentators piled on. Eric Erickson said that Trump was basically making an in-kind contribution to Ossoff's campaign. And my read on this, and this is just my take, Trump's phone probably spent all Monday night ringing off the damn hook with allies screaming that he just handed a swing state Democrat the best fundraising email of the entire cycle. But we cannot relax, because even if Thursday never talks about Ossoff or Warnock, the door is open. That talking point is out for anyone to use. Are you really going to re-elect an illegitimate senator? In the best case scenario, that's their play. At the best, this is a campaign scare tactic. But the worst case scenario is what I want to talk through. And I want to start with what is actually confirmed. You've got multiple White House officials saying that Thursday's speech is about newly declassified intelligence, selectively declassified intelligence that allegedly shows foreign plans to interfere in 2020, plus what they are calling voting machine vulnerabilities. And Trump, he is bringing his whole team. The CIA Director Ratcliffe, Acting Intelligence Chief Bill Pulte, Kash Patel, Mark Wayne Mullen, that entire national security apparatus of the United States standing behind Trump and his ability to turn a loss into a rallying cry. And by the way, courts have already looked at 2020, 60 plus cases, audits. Trump's own DOJ looked at it. The Federal Cybersecurity Agency called it the most secure election in American history. That came from his government. And you know, it is worth a reminder that Trump lost Georgia by 11,779 votes. And that's after the state counted ballots 3 times, including once by hand. And they got the same answer every time. Remember, Trump called the Secretary of State in Georgia to ask him to find 11,780 votes. And then he lost in court over and over and over again until his own lawyers had to admit they made the whole damn thing up. So naturally, you wait 5 years and then go back to step 1. Except this time, you're bringing the FBI. The FBI that raided the Fulton County election office. And the government is now sitting on more than 600 boxes of 2020 ballots. According to memos, 260 analysts were working on this Georgia probe, ordered to find evidence. And when the DOJ demanded the names and contact information of every single person who worked in the 2020 election in Fulton County, a federal judge said no. and they said that the scope of that demand was staggering. And let's say they did find all this fraud. The statute of limitations has run out. You cannot charge a crime there at all. So why do you need the names of these election workers? You don't need them for justice. You need them for fear. And then you've got this BS SAVE Act, that National Proof of Citizenship Voter ID bill. The House passed it, and it is still stalled in the Senate. Yet Trump still wants it on his desk ASAP. He fired the Democratic commissioners on the Election Assistance Committee when they wouldn't play along. The DOJ has sent letters to all 50 states warning election officials that they could be prosecuted over their voter rolls. And you've got to remember what is happening in the Senate, because this is downright ghoulish. First of all, who knows if Mitch McConnell is even coherent at this point, but he hasn't resigned. And the moment he resigns, his seat is in play. Meanwhile, Lindsey Graham passing away on Saturday. By Monday morning, Trump posts that the governor should appoint Lindsey's sister, Darlene. Monday afternoon, the governor appoints Darlene. She's sworn in on Tuesday. By the way, why was there an FBI investigation into Graham's death? Is it so somebody could get into his house to get someone so close to Lindsey sworn in so quickly? It's the type of thing you do when you want to keep secrets. And I'm not talking about Lindsey's preferences. I'm talking about the sort of secrets that the president might have shared with someone that's helping to build the Trump dynasty. But the more practical reason, it is a controllable vote. And I've got to ask you, by the way, what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now to make sure your vote is legitimately counted in November? And do me a favor, be specific, because your answer might be somebody else's reminder. What is the one thing you are going to do this week to protect your own vote? Checking your registration, getting your ID sorted? Tell me in the comments below. But I do want to talk about Georgia specifically, because in this worst case scenario, Trump is going to try to negate 2 more Senate votes. And first of all, he hates Georgia because they keep producing proof that he can be beaten and was beaten. The 3 counts in 2020, the 2 Senate runoffs, and fresh statewide Democratic wins just in the last year. And Georgia produced Jon Ossoff, a legitimate player on the national stage. And when the leak dropped on Monday night, Ossoff posted this, and it went viral. Donald Trump's spiral continues. And then he laid the whole thing out. The failed presidency, afraid to lose in the midterms, reheating debunked conspiracy theories to attack voting rights. Bullet point after bullet point, put it out there. And I got to tell you, what has genuinely impressed me about him is not that Ossoff just hits back. He is the one person treating election denial like an actual threat to our country. And he has consistently been the one person in Washington talking about election reform in concrete ways without talking out of both sides of his mouth. And without sounding like he swallowed a white paper. He doesn't sound like a nerd. Watch him in this clip where he's talking to a missionary Baptist church, Beulah Missionary Baptist Church, talking about this.
So here we are in Georgia, where the president sent spies and agents to seize your ballots. Did you all see that, Beulah? Yeah. And why did they go to Fulton County? Why Fulton County? I submit to you it's because the fact that black voters and black political power were instrumental to his defeat is even more offensive to this lifelong racist than the defeat itself. The election deniers. They tell a lie so absurd and therefore so debasing to tell that the act of telling it proves the teller's total and humiliating submission.
Is that clip heavy on policy? No, but it connects. And that is why he's such a threat to Trump. It's the same way that they're treating Tallarico in Texas. This man is talking about democracy like it's something regular people have to live inside of. And understand, there is no legal mechanism to unswear in a senator, none. So the illegitimacy talk has exactly one purpose: kneecapping Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, the 2 Georgia Democrats who are really, really good at this. And by the way, if you're surprised by any of this, they've published all of this. Project 2025 laid this out in writing. But oh no, we don't know anything about that. But if you start looking at Project 2025 and any of the stuff from the Heritage Foundation, their goals were simple. Gut the election security agency, pack the bureaucracy with loyalists, and arrive on day one ready to execute. The Brennan Center has been screaming about the elections chapter for 2 years. The Heritage Foundation and all of the Trumpers have told us who they were, and now they're proving us right. And remember, look at the White House itself. The new helipad, the bunker work, the drone port, the fence going up around the park across the street. And now Donald Trump's complaining about the facade, while also sliding in security upgrades to the door. And those columns out front, it's not about aesthetics, it's about security. Trump is building himself a fortress. And you don't build a fortress if you're planning on leaving. And notice what Donald Trump's not doing. He's not out there stumping for Republicans that are in tight races, and I get it. Part of it's his health. But part of it, I believe, is simpler. He doesn't intend to let Republicans lose in November. Why would you spend money and time campaigning for votes that you plan to manufacture? And I've got to give you a reminder before I sign off. Remember, check your voter registration this week. Get your real ID if you can. Carry a passport to the ballot if you can. If you vote by mail, request that ballot early and track it every step of the way. Show up at your county meetings, get on your clerks, get them on record about their election security procedures. And here's the new one. Call and write your congressional leaders, both parties, because both parties are threatened by this. And tell them that regardless of any partisan politics, the single biggest threat to this country's survival is Donald Trump and Project 2025's thirst to retain power. From a bipartisan standpoint, all of our elected leaders need to reject this manufactured proof that 2020 was rigged and stop Trump's interference in our free elections. And then go share this video. I mean it. Independent media like us survives and thrives on your interactions, your likes, your comments, your shares, and this might be the most important story I've ever covered. Send this to somebody who needs to see it and subscribe so that we can keep ringing the alarm bells.